Inside a packed St. Peter's Basilica, Pope Francis issued a call for peace today by consecrating both Russia and Ukraine to the Immaculate Heart of Mary.
Perché oggi abbiamo esaurito il vino della speranza.
In his prayer, the Holy Father asked the Virgin Mary for peace, saying through her heart, she can ensure a future that cares for the needs of the whole human family and calm the anxieties of the world. Thousands of people took part inside and outside of the Basilica. The Blessed Virgin is beloved in both Russia and Ukraine. Joining us now from Rome is Andreas Thonhauser, EWTN Vatican Bureau Chief. Andreas, great to see you. Can you tell us more about the consecration?
Yeah, thank you, Tracy, for having me. Well, there was great excitement about the consecration of Russia and Ukraine to the Immaculate Heart of Mary here in Rome. Thousands of people have flocked here to St. Peter's Square to be a part of the happenings in the Basilica. After the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Pope Francis had invited all bishops and priests around the world to join him in entrusting both countries to the intercession of Our Lady of Fatima. At the same time, Papal Almoner Cardinal Konrad Krajewski also held a ceremony at the shrine in Portugal. Faithful from around the world participated in the prayers outside the Basilica, which was closed for tourists to show their closeness to the population in Ukraine. Also, Ukrainian refugees who have found shelter in Italy joined the celebration.
Andreas, why is Pope Francis taking such a step, and why did he choose Our Lady of Fatima?
Well, in 1917, during the appearances, Our Lady of Fatima told visionaries that she wished Russia to be consecrated to her. There were various consecrations, but visionary Sister Lucia confirmed that the entrustment by St. John Paul II in 1984 indeed did satisfy Mary's request. Then, Russia and Ukraine were both part of the Soviet Union. In Fatima, Mary promised that if Russia is consecrated to her, a period of peace will follow, which was the case with the fall of the USSR. Now, a new war has started, and there is a clear and present danger that it could develop into World War III. The period of peace seems to be ending. In order to avoid this, the Holy See reacted in two ways, diplomatically and spiritually. First, Pope Francis went to the Russian ambassador to the Holy See immediately after the invasion into the Ukraine had started. A pontiff going to an embassy and not vice versa is practically unheard of. He sent two cardinals to Ukraine, spoke with the Russian Orthodox Patriarch Kirill, and had the Secretariat of State reach out to their contacts in Russia. When it comes to diplomacy, it's always hard to understand the direct effects of these actions. But many diplomats here in Rome affirm the important leadership of the Holy See in this conflict. Secondly, Pope Francis immediately called to a spiritual battle. Ash Wednesday was turned into a day of prayer and fasting for Ukraine, even before the aggressions had begun. Many masses were celebrated in St. Peter's for peace. This is culminating now, today. This was culminating now, more than a month after the invasion began, into the consecration to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Theologians here refer to it as a spiritual terremoto, an earthquake, which will send shockwaves around the world from this celebration here at St. Peter's and across the globe.
And Andreas, before I let you go, I'm curious, where did the idea come from?
Well, there was a letter from the Ukrainian bishops who wrote to the Holy Father asking him to consecrate Ukraine again to Our Lady of Fatima. They made it public, and even our journalists here in Rome at Catholic News Agency wrote about this. And then, only last week, the Vatican announced that they would hold this celebration. So there wasn't a lot of time to prepare for this big event. But it also shows that this is not just for show. Pope Francis was very sincere about this step. He decided to hold it today on the Feast of the Annunciation and the celebration of penitence. The Pope heard confession himself during the celebrations, and in the prayer of the consecration, he also asked for forgiveness on behalf of humankind, as we seem to still have not learned from the wars of the past. Peace is only possible if we repent. This is the message of the day, and this is what Our Lady of Fatima asked.
Well, Andreas, thank you so much for your report today. Andreas Thonhauser, EWTN Vatican Bureau Chief. Thank you again.
Thank you, Tracy.